Heath, I see you there. Hey everyone. So tonight I'm in a different location at to come into the studio because got some uh, broadband issues, whatever at home with our dial-up thing, so whatever you call it. So I'm just going to invite Heath here. Um, Heath's like a killer Sydney tattooer and painter. He's a powerhouse. Anyone that knows him, the guy's just got infectious energy. And sorry, I'm just reading a text. I'll text you later, Alex. Yeah, he's like done so much for tattooing. He's been like a Sydney boy. He's travelled the world. He's done so much. So tonight we're going to hear some really good stuff about him. His entry into tattooing and to where he is now and what he has ahead for the future. So I'm just going to invite him. Cool, and then we'll see where this one goes. I know this is a one by the comments I've got. Hi everyone that's waving and all that stuff. Thanks for joining. Hey, oh, mate, how you doing?
You got broadband issues. I'm on like country
Dial-up?
fucking Wi-Fi, so
Have you got
hopefully it
like a
doesn't
rat
drop out.
running in a cage out the back?
It's pretty bad. It's probably even worse than that. It's probably just the
Oh,
idea of it
mate.
being invented at the moment. But yeah, how you going?
Yeah, good dude, good. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't have to talk to you like around your campfire as you suggested earlier in the week, and you
Too
can
windy.
be indoors.
It's way too windy. You'll hear my roof making noise. I just had clear sheeting put on the roof so I get more light while I paint, but it fucking sounds like it's farting. So
Nice.
apologies. It's not as bad. Also, the cows are weaning at the moment, so they're making a lot
Okay.
of noise.
They need their privacy.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, cool,
making a
cool.
lot of noise.
So I think tonight, like you can see the comments coming through as well. I'm pretty sure we're going to get some good ones tonight because you've got like a massive fan base here in Sydney and also overseas. So you feel free to acknowledge them and say hi and all the rest of it, or answer any stuff, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sweet.
Cool. All right, mate. We'll start off where it all began. Like, who did your first tattoo, and like, how old were you, and what was it?
Well, I guess it's all about stories, so it's a little. I'll make it longer than shorter.
Yep.
My first tattoo. So I'd been wanting to get tattooed for fucking ages, and I'd asked my mom if I could go get tattooed. Anyway, she was like, "Yeah, you can get it done, but you have to earn your own money." And at that time, the only place that was real,
That's
like
cool.
everyone knew of, was Kaleidoscope
Yep.
in Bondi, especially because I was from the eastern suburbs, so that was it.
Yep. Where in the east did you grow up?
Maroubra and Coogee.
Yeah, cool.
Place called Lexo, and then Coogee, and then back to Lexo, and back and forth. All my family lived down there and all the housing commissions. So, yeah, it's
grassroots.
I don't think anyone has gotten away from there. I think I'm the only one. And my cousin, who's recently been relocated from housing commission to Gosford. So,
amazing.
You're wondering why Maroubra is getting pulled apart. They're all going to Gosford.
Yeah.
Anyway,
cool.
I got a job in year 10 doing
Nice.
French polishing. And it was like one of those work experience places. Anyway, the dude was all right. He was a bit of a prick. The first week he didn't pay.
Yeah.
And the second week, he said if I wanted to, I could hang around and he'd pay me. So I skipped school for that week and worked there.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of money together. I think they charged me. I had my last name tattooed down my back. So it was Nock.
Yep.
Big old English fucking letters.
As you do.
I remember calling everyone up. And I remember calling up Harry's. And Harry's, I guarantee it was fucking Morgan that answered.
Yep.
First of all, I think I got told to get fucked a couple of times. But anyway, I wrangled a quote out, and I think it was $80 a letter until I said where I was from, and then it was $120 a letter. 4 letters was too much. So anyway,
mate, 90s profiling.
It was fucking hilarious. Anyway, I ended up getting it tattooed off Claudio, who was an Italian guy, because I think back then all the real good dudes were coming out from Italy. Europe.
Claudio Benevuto or something like that, I think it was. Real nice work.
Yeah, it was cool. So he did that. My mum sat in the waiting room because the first attempt, they told me I had to bring her in. Yeah. So she was sitting there. sitting on the edge of a fucking massage table in a room that was no bigger than my toilet.
Yep.
With 5 other
the original
tattooists,
Kaleidoscope shop, the small one.
Fucking tiny.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a cool crew then as well, eh? There was heaps of Italians. There was some
I reckon
English
Tom
bloke.
would have been there.
Yeah, no, Tong came a couple of years after that because Tong did a tattoo on my forearm.
Okay.
I would have been like 18 then. So yeah, Tong was my first one. I was 16, and then he would have been. I got a couple of extra tattoos. Sam was there at that time.
Yeah, Sam Phillips.
Yeah, so he was there. Yeah, it was fucking cool. It was a cool spot.
Yeah, awesome. Well,
But
mate,
yeah,
back then,
that's-
Kaleidoscope was one of the big power shops. I think you had in that era, Kaleidoscope, Illustrated Man, King's Cross was still in full swing. House of Pain, Innovision. I think maybe Scotty had King Street at then, or Skin
but
Deep,
also
or who knows?
there was Celtic Dragon was still there.
There you go. Yeah.
Because I remember I asked for an apprenticeship probably around the same time after I got that tattoo.
Yep.
And I remember Nathan was working there.
Yeah, mad.
And I was told I wasn't allowed an apprenticeship.
Yep. So what sparked, what were you doing art around that time as well? Or did you just think, fuck, this is a cool job, I can do this? Or?
Yeah, no, I was always doing art.
Yep.
Like when I was young, even during school holidays, I'd go surfing and then come home and draw.
Yep.
So I was drawing to be a tattoo artist while in high school, for sure.
Right. Yep.
I don't know if like a lot of friends that would remember, I designed surfboards and snowboards. So my plan was to leave high school and work and sell snowboard designs like Burton.
Yep.
Anyway, I got a gig from Force. I think it was Force.
Yep.
Force and World Industries to design, and did this huge painting and that. Anyway, they charged $200. So that was out the fucking question. I wasn't doing that job anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kind of stuck with tattooing. But it was funny. I started doing that because the first time I ever wanted to be a tattoo artist, there was a movie called fucking like something about these toy soldiers. Yeah, they were like, it was like some cartoon kind of Pixar looking thing. It was fucking old. Anyway, one of them tattooed the other one in that. Yeah, one of them tattooed another one in that. I went home from the Ritz Cinema, ran down to my mum's house, got my dad's technical drawing kit out, got the fucking needle out and literally tattooed a cross on my leg. And
amazing.
The whole thing fell apart. But anyway, I knew I wanted a tattoo. So I was doing art around then.
So your interest was obviously surf and snowboarding. Like Luke Muller the other night was saying he was right into skating. Was skating a big part of your life at all?
Yeah, huge. I was horrible at snowboarding, at surfing. Yeah. And I was kind of pretty shit at skating as well, but I still loved it. Yep. And I was better at snowboarding. But skateboarding influenced me hugely, especially in design. Like, I mean, if you look at my tattoos, like,
you can see
there's there's, you know, the Powell Peralta fucking Reaper, like that skeleton, that was that, and Pusshead with all the Metallica skulls. Those were two things that I was like, these are exceptional. So that's how that happened.
Yeah, amazing. So, okay, so you went from that, like, how did you actually start tattooing?
Oh, fuck. So until I had to think about this today because I knew it would come up. We were hanging down Coogee. I would have been about 16.
Yep.
It was after I got the tattoo. So for some reason, getting the tattoo meant that I knew everything about tattooing.
Oh, you were the go-to guy.
Go-to guy for the area. Anyway, I was at Coogee and these two fucking like American guys. One name was Oatmeal. Get the other guy's name. Anyway, they were meant to be LA gangsters.
Yeah.
They ended up getting
tough name.
Oh, dude, it was hilarious. Anyway, they were hanging around everyone at the beach. They could skate. They didn't know how to surf, but they lived up near the Coogee Surf Club. Anyway, one day they were saying that they were going to tattoo, and they built a jail machine.
Yep.
And invited me up there. I was shitting it. I did a tattoo with that. That was the first time I did a tattoo.
Yep.
Anyway, those dudes ended up getting They ended up getting the shit bashed out of them by the Buttles family. Some people will know who the Buttles are. Some people, no one will know. But some people won't want to know. Nah. So anyway, Tom Buttles was the worst back then, and he flogged them, and they went fucking running. But they taught me how to make a tattoo machine with that shit, with all like the jail stuff. I had an uncle that just got out as well.
Yep.
He showed me how to like make a better needle for it, because it was those guys were using. They were getting a spring, and they were straightening the spring. But my uncle showed me how to use it with a. Not with a spring from the lighter. My uncle showed me with a guitar string. I don't know how the fuck they get guitar strings in jail, but anyway, it's meant to be a go-to.
Yeah. Yeah, well, with all that as well, so you come from the era of where, you know, necessity is the mother of invention or adaptation. So you get, because back then you couldn't really freely get stuff off eBay or Gumtree or no one was selling supplies. So it was super hard to get hold of.
Well, you'll remember this. Do you remember getting all the Tattoo Life and Tattoo Energy? In the back, there was like sale shit. And if you write to them, you get a catalog.
Yeah.
It was Worldwide Tattoo Supply. One of those. So,
the OG China.
And also, so the first time I bought anything legit, it was one of those kits, and I had to wait up till 3 a.m. because they'd only answer your phone call, and you have to I took my mum's credit card and bought it with that. That was, and then for years on from that, like for fucking ages, you'd have to call Pappy on at like 4 a.m. Like I remember, so when I started working at Steel Lotus, Carly made us make all the needles, which everyone did. I fucking hated making needles because I was horrible at soldering, and still to this day, I know there's heaps of tattooists out there that like froth about it. I fucking hated it.
Oh, it's a shit job, mate. But
it was the worst.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember paying $5 for a single-use needle.
Yep.
So what? You'd pay like $20 to get a big packet now. It was $5 each then.
Mate, it was crazy. Like you'd remember same as me. I think when you were at Steel Lotus, I was up the road in a Vision. Yeah. And there used to be that Chinese guy, Michael, that used to go around and do deliveries back then. Just, you know, box of needles in the white box. And yeah, you were like, all of a sudden, it was like, oh, amazing. I don't have to waste half an hour a day doing this shit.
Man, do you know what the worst thing was? When you'd be tattooing and then a needle would fall out in the skin?
Snap off the needle bar, or the top of the needle bar would break because it was the cheapest shit out.
It's the worst. I even hated fucking stainless steel tubes. Like, no matter who cleaned them, there was always arguments. It was the worst. So as soon as everything disposable was there, I was fucking pumped. Sorry, I probably jumped 10 steps ahead.
No, you're good. So you got that. Where'd you go from that jailhouse rig that those guys and your uncle taught you or showed you how to use? What was your first professional equipment or semi-professional equipment?
The first professional equipment would have been by Worldwide Tattoo Supply.
Yep.
So the one that I said, but there was some shitty ones, but Worldwide Tattoo had these bulldogs. They were meant to be the Sailor Jerry Bulldog.
Yep.
I don't know who made them. They were meant to be Adam Safari made them, but I highly doubt it now.
Yep.
Anyway, it was the power supplies, the blue power supply that everyone had. That had a fucking... That was the first good shit that I had.
Yep.
I had my own autoclave, everything. So I'd gone from that, and then I'd just finished year 12. So I held off to buying anything until the end of year 12.
Yeah.
I really wanted to go and do physics in university.
Yeah, wow.
But it was, I don't know, man. It was pretty poor. Family was pretty poor.
I think you took the right turn.
Yeah, for sure. I'll probably be the worst scientist out. But
like you got the glasses for a scientist, but I don't know about anything else.
These are all show. These are Anastasias. Fuck. So I bought legit stuff. Was tattooing out. Me and a group of mates had a house at Lurline Bay.
Yep.
We got it. It was like, I think it was meant to be 5 bedrooms, and we got there, and it was actually an illegal fucking backpackers. So they'd all been kicked out, but what they'd done was they underpinned the house, and they dug everything out. And anyway, we had an extra like 4 or 5 bedrooms down there, so that became a tattoo studio.
Yeah, amazing.
And I was there. I was doing that for quite a while, man, because it was real hard to get a gig.
Yep.
I mean, you'd know it, but people don't know. Like, tattooing back then, it was extremely seasonal.
Yep.
You had your portfolio out, and the youngest one in was like, you could be a real good drawer, but you know, I had my sights set on Steel Lotus because Cliff was a bit of a, he wasn't very warm,
accommodating.
Yeah,
there was definitely a hierarchy in studios. You know, the oldest people there, obviously, no matter on skill, it didn't matter, but it was more like, whoever had been there the longest got looked after the most. Yeah, and then it went from there. Like, it would have been the same at Steel Lotus. Innovision used to swell with guest artists over summer and then shrink back to the 4 or 5 person crew over winter.
Well, I mean, there was internet, but there was no real good websites. There was nothing. No. Like, it was fucking...
No one was using Facebook. There was no Instagram. There was nothing.
Man, like, people were still looking through the yellow pages to find a tattoo studio.
Yeah,
you know? So,
100%. And word of mouth was massive.
Yeah. So it was real hard to get an apprenticeship.
Yep.
I ended up, it was like my 19th birthday.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to call this one shop that I've never had anything to do with, but it sounds all right. Yep. It's called Skin Deep.
Amazing.
So I called up Skin Deep and I was like, hey man, my name's Heath. I'm 19. I want to be an apprentice.
Yep.
I'm already doing tattoos. I'm down here at fucking Maroubra doing them for people. Kind of have an idea. Just want to get better.
Yeah.
And a guy named Scott was like, come on in, man, and bring all your shit. I was like, I'm not going to bring anything in. It's fucking too far to go.
Yep.
I didn't know how to get to Newtown.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, I asked I'm not even going to say, I asked 2 family members to bring me in.
Yep.
And they were like, no, we're not going in. Fuck going in there.
Yeah.
Place looks shit.
Yep.
No offense to anyone that still works at Skin Deep. It was a little bit different then. There was fish tanks and shit.
Yeah.
I go in there, and there was some blonde dude that sat me down out the back, and like there was a heaps big waiting room and a tiny tattoo area back then.
Yep.
And this dude's like, you know what you're fucking doing? And was like really riling me up, like going, you're gonna get bashed anyway. In comes Scott and another dude. And they were like fucking blowing up. They're like, you know, like we break people's arms. I was like, that's cool. Got 2 family members outside and they're these people. Yeah. So I can call them, they can come in, you can talk to them about it. Anyway, both dudes boosted. I was left in there. I was told that I had a job at Level 2 Tattoo.
On George Street or?
Fucking Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool
I'm
Street.
sure it was
upstairs.
Liverpool Street. Yeah. So I had a job there. And I remember being described, it was like, I had to do the night shift. So I'm fucking 19.
Yeah.
I don't even know who these dudes are. I've got the night shift, 6 days a week, 5 years gentleman agreement.
Yep.
Anyway, it wasn't going to work with my family. Yeah. That kind of gentleman agreement would come a little bit short. I had to skip on that.
Yep.
And so you came out years later that I was pretty happy I didn't take that fucking job.
Yeah, mate.
My family members were fucking, once they found out the story that I'd said, was very, very upset. So I was, I mean, even if I wanted to. So I was back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
I was back to the drawing board for another year, hey, because I would have been 20. I called up Carly. I said to her that, you know, I was looking for an apprenticeship, and I mean, she must have been high as a fucking kite that day, now knowing, because she was like, come on in, man, you got a job. Got in there.
I like the sound of your voice.
Oh, dude, that chick was fucking hectic. But anyway, so yeah, that kind of worked out. I mean, that was pretty cool. Nothing really came of that when Carly was there. That was pretty hard. But like she was erratic, man. Like she would, like, dude, she one day bailed me up against the corner of a room and was like fucking like hate fucking me with her eyes. It was bizarre. She went through some shit in tattooing, and I think she kind of pushed it on others. She had a real bad drug issue. But I thanked her for it, man, because she really opened it up to me being let in to even clean the floors. Like, I babysat a kid for fucking months. I cleaned the tubes. I did everything the right way, and you know, she filed bankruptcy. Before she filed bankruptcy, this was a good one. She said that everyone was paying $10,000 for apprenticeships back then, and I needed to pay her 10,000. I was like, I have been fucking like standing here like Steel Lotus was across the road from a Centrelink and no one wanted to deal with the junkies.
Yep.
I came from a place full of junkies, so it was fucking second nature. So they loved that.
Yep.
I'm not paying you fucking 10 grand to deal with junkies. Pay me. Fucking. I mean, you remember it, like tattooing back then.
Yeah, totally. Like a lot of younger tattooers, like, you know, don't remember, and you know, fortunately they don't have to go through it these days. It's a lot more, you know, mainstream. But back then it was definitely a rite of passage to, you know, to do these things. Tattooing had like a pretty severe filter system of whether you made it or not. And I even remember, you know, because we must have known each other for probably around 15 years now. And I remember working up at Innovision and being down in like Stanley Street area one time and meeting you in a pub down there. And then a couple of weeks later, oh yeah, cool. Because we're like young, obviously I'm a bit older than you, but we're all on the same page and, you know, tattooing's changing, we're friendly. And then I remember drinking over at the Gaslight and then Cliff going, oh, those cunts from fucking Steel Lotus.
Dude, I was going to bring this up.
Yeah, and you're like, man, really? Like, you know, come on, you know. But it was, it was.
Do you remember the Gaslight then that we all had our own corner? It was you guys at the front, we were on one side, and Happy's fucking Mischief Moon was on the other, and none of us spoke. Yep,
so bizarre. You'd be at the toilet just like, dum 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 dum.
I used to always walk when you guys had the shop where Industrial Strength was. Or no, what was it?
Yep.
What was it? Was it Industrial Strength?
Piercing Urge.
I used to walk across there and piss on the doors. And I remember because Bodie'd be like, there's cameras, like, fuck Cliff, man. I'm going to piss all over his shop.
Like,
I hope it goes under his door well.
Such a crazy era. And, you know, thankfully, you know, now tattooing in general and especially Sydney is on a much more sort of friendly,
dude, we weren't allowed to even, I wasn't allowed to get tattooed at Innovision. I remember the guys at Mischief Moon weren't allowed to come get tattooed down at Steel Lotus. And it was none of our fucking shit.
No.
It was like all their dramas.
Yeah, but back then, Surrey Hills was kind of like a bit of a mecca. You had, like it is now, like you had Illustrated Man, you had Steel Lotus, you had Happy's Tattoo, you had Innovision, and you had Bill's Custom Tattoo on Oxford Street.
Yeah.
You know? So,
but did anyone ever hang out with Bill? I never. I saw that dude twice, and I remember he had a real cool chick, Ivana.
Yeah, Ivana worked there. Actually,
she was epic.
Yeah, I think either Clarity started there, or maybe she.
No, Clarity was at Happy's.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I think Clarity was working up at STR.
Yeah.
And then she went to Mischief Moon, and that was before she went to fucking Tattoo Dharma.
Yes, yeah, correct. So,
yeah, but it was even a small group of people, man. I think Clarity and I were two of the youngest people. I think Clarity's a touch older than me, but there weren't many. Yeah, there weren't like the amount of tattooers that there are today, and even, you know, exactly like you didn't have like say if you're 25 tattooing now. Yeah, there's probably about 100 or more 25-year-olds tattooing or around that age bracket in Sydney, you know, and you're all connected online, all that sort of stuff. So back then you didn't have this ability to communicate with people or all that sort of stuff. So it was a lot harder. You know? For sure, man. It was like, I think it took many years before there were people kind of my own age.
Yeah.
Like tattooing. It was real weird because I had my 21st birthday at Hard Rock Cafe down on fucking Crown Street with everyone from Steel Lotus. Like it was fucking young, man. Yeah. Yeah,
well, mate, I came to Sydney. I was in my early 30s, you know, so I was already old for the scene, you know, so.
You're not old, bro.
Mate, thank you, mate. But all right, so I know, mate, I already know from this we're probably getting close to the halfway mark and we're not even a tenth of the way through it. So worst case scenario, we maybe have to shut down for toilet break and come back, or we do another one. So
do another one.
So there you go. So how long were you at Steel Lotus? Because Steel Lotus had like a solid crew.
Yeah, I mean, it was solid. I think there really wasn't that many people. It was Dean Carlisle.
Yep.
Bodie O'Leary.
Yep.
Yoshio.
Yep.
Yoshio was there. Yeah, Yoshio came in like a couple of years after I was there, like started. Yep. And then, so that was, I would say that's the core group. So it would have been us four. And then there's Denny. So Denny was I don't know. Denny was he was all right, man, but he was a bit weird. He was the Chilean dude. He used to write he used to write his customers' love letters and hand them to him after the appointment. He was a fucking bizarre guy.
Couldn't do that today.
It was just us. Yeah. And then, so I was there up until about 2008. And then I started talking that, look, I want to guest. And guesting I really think Australians didn't guest. I think international people guessed, but especially Sydney people, no one guested. Yeah. You'd probably know that. Like, no one ever guested. So I started talking about guesting. And I was like, I want to go to Germany. Lou's Lips. I needed to go. I needed to see who Lou's Lips was. So I come from a family, when I said I was going to Berlin, they still thought it was war-torn.
Wow. Yeah.
That would have been my first year of like bailing out. Anyway, 2000, I'm sure it was 2008. I tattooed in London. That was fucking weird. I stole all my so what had happened was I sent all my stuff to Charing Cross post office. I flew in. It was delayed. I came. Anyway, they put the box up on the counter. They had the counter door open, and they said, wait 1 sec. There's a letter here. I have to go ask. I fucking knew that I was going to get in trouble. So I grabbed the box. I ran. I had to tattoo these two people that I was staying with. And the next day I was on a fucking flight to Berlin.
Wow.
I was standing in Berlin 2 days early, not knowing where the fuck I was. I couldn't speak any German. I didn't even think that I'd need to speak German. It's how Anyway, I started working at a place called Farima. And I'd stayed there.
Yeah. It's a famous shop, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It still is. I mean, it's fucking epic. It's in Friedrichshain.
So I'm just going to put it into context. How would you have set up a guest spot back in 2008?
This is beautiful. I had to ask El Monga from
Spain, Barcelona.
To do this.
Yeah. Because remember David Ramirez, he come and worked down with you. He was in a vision and was down at your shop too.
Yeah, so David helped me in this, all right? So El Monga said, you got to send all your shit to print off the photos and send them all to the European fucking magazines 6 months before you come.
Wow.
So I've done that. I've written bios about myself, sent all the photos off. But right around this time, MySpace had happened.
Yep.
And MySpace was kind of cool. 2005, everyone was sus on it. Because I remember all the Americans were putting flash on there. Anyway, by this time it come into it came into what it was at that point. So I'd put it out there that I was going to be in Berlin. Little did I know, I didn't need work. I just needed to know how to tattoo. That was the busiest fucking shop I'd ever worked in.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I worked there. I worked there for I had 2 weeks booked there, right?
Yep.
Actually, I had 1 week booked. And they ended up extending it to 2. So I'd made all this cash. I was young. I had nothing to do. I couldn't speak German, so I was there. So I'd be working all day. They'd be quoting. I'd just be tattooing. At night, I'd be getting on it and then learning how to count in German with all the porn ads that be on there. So the first week passes, they go, you can do 1 more week. You're a nice guy.
Nice.
Even though I had a customer throw up all over the place. The second week, I put my hand into the money that I'd had because I chucked it in a bag. They said, give us 20%. I was like, fuck yes. I just come from a world of 50%.
Yeah.
And I was like, 20%. I had made 25,000 euros in that 2 weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
And the cut, when they got it, they were like, you've just paid our rent for a month. You can stay as long as you want. So I ended up fucking staying until I had to leave.
Yeah. Amazing.
Also,
amazing.
I got fired from that shop. I got fired back home because Jace, that was running the counter at fucking Westside, called up and asked when I was going to come up to Westside to do a guest spot. So I had to get on the payphone, call, still owed us anyway. I got fired. But fuck them. They always had me back.
Yeah. Amazing.
There's a story.
Amazing. Where did you go after Berlin? Okay, is that what opened the door or got you to see Loose Lips?
Well, I had 3 days working at Luxodrome.
Yep.
But it was just weird, man. It was a weird shop. Lou was lovely. Yep. He was came with a cravat and 2 chicks, and he's like, I'm gonna take you. We're gonna drink absinthe. And anyway, I hung out with him that night, and him and another dude had an argument of who could suck each other off better, and they looked identical. I tripped out. Anyway, I never wanted to go back to the shop. I never got tattooed off him. I ended up getting tattooed off his apprentice at the time named Bjorn Lieber. And that dude became a dear friend. And so that's, I was meant to work there mainly, but you can't miss up on Farima, man. Like that place made absolute bank.
It was, I think, pretty sure from my understanding, that was one of like the early OG shops from probably the 80s.
Yeah.
In Germany. Yeah.
Definitely. They were like old punk dudes. And there's still a guy named Jan there that is exceptional at Japanese. Probably like not very well known, but he's incredible, man. That shop taught me a lot. Like, I mean, that shop taught me that like tattoo studios are only 4 walls and a roof. And that's it. And there's like a beauty in that, like make it for all it is. But like, you know, I brought this up the other day to someone. I was like, shops kind of have a come and go, like the attention on it and that. I was like, this younger guy was talking about, he was in the in shop, and I was like, that's cool, man. Like, do you remember Frith Street? And he was like, Mark, never heard of it. I was like, well, there you go. Look up Frith Street, and then you'll realize, like,
everyone has their moment. Like, I know when I got booted out of, you know, my Bondi Junction studio, I was like heartbroken because I'd sort of put everything into it and thought this is it and blah, blah, blah. And then, but it taught me that exact same lesson as well. Like everything has its moment in time, and it's all the people, it's the energy that it creates at that time. And that's it. And you look at the cycle of life, like, everyone has their moment in the sun and a shop or an artist or whatever. And it's then, like Mayo always said, like, you know, you kind of have a hot 5 years, and it's what you do with it that you know, is where you end up going, sort of thing. So
for sure. It's also, tattooing is one-on-one, man. We always seem to forget and think it's like a huge collective thing, but it's very one-on-one. It's you and a customer. We just choose to have a career around people that drive us. Fuck, man, like everything, it wears out sometimes. Like an F-truck doesn't run forever, you know? Like sometimes it wears out and you got to abandon it or move along or
or rebuild or whatever.
Or what it is.
So tell us more about Europe. What more did you do over there in that time frame, and then what did you do when you came back to Australia?
Well, I was meant to go work at Elmongers, but I ended up making too much money in Germany, getting a bit too paranoid.
Can't blame you for that. So obviously back then you would have invested into Bitcoin and sent it home.
Oh fuck, no way, bro! I was still stuffing in my pants. I had to come home. Because I ended up having a fight with the lead guitarist out of Bloodhound Gang. He was doing a show in Berlin at the time.
Mate, I'm sure half the people on here won't remember who Bloodhound Gang are. I do.
He was doing Pimp My Ride in Berlin. He was and the guy was a fucking prick. Anyway, he slapped me. I'd grown up boxing. I got a bit fiery, and I just fucking hit him as hard as I could. I just ended up making enemies in the town, so I bailed out. So then
time to go.
I came home. I worked at Steel Lotus. Hold on, just getting topped up. I worked at, thank you. And I went back to Steel Lotus, and I just had a relationship fall apart there. Like Danny didn't. I was in a new guard of tattooing that went against everything that he believed in. Of like. I mean, he was trying to make fucking Steel Lotus into a franchise and shit. Like it just wasn't forward thinking. It was going backwards. Bodie and Dean weren't happy. We were talking about leaving, and you know, like everyone had an idea. And you know, I remember I remember Bodie talking about starting a shop and being like, you know, I'm gonna have televisions hung in the studio. And I just remember going, fuck, I don't want to work in that place. So I bailed. I bailed, and I had like walked into some real estate agent and I said, I needed an art studio. What have you got that no one will lease? And it was a place on Regent Street in Redfern. And it was just a private studio. And I think that time everyone was talking about private studios, but no one was doing them.
I think the only real one back then was Tattoo Dharma.
For sure. I mean,
it was the one that changed the scene as far as, you know, private studios went.
Without a doubt. I mean, I think that I think between Josh and everyone else. I mean, fuck, you were there at some point. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
were the
Yeah.
big shop.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you were
It was
untouchable in that way.
like I know for myself, like, I was like super proud, and I worked at Innovision for 5 years, and it's one of the big things that's helped me to where I am today. But it was kind of like where the shop where every tattooist wanted to work, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And and it showed me a different way, which I think it kind of helped pioneer the way today that a lot of private studios are run in Sydney.
I think it's even changed the way the fucking, like, all shops run.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember there was a different price for custom tattooing?
Yep.
Like, you go down to fucking Kaleidoscope or that, or even Still Lotus did it. It was 110 an hour, but if you wanted custom, it was 150 plus GST.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it just, you hear Ed Hardy talk about it, about custom and that. I don't know. I think the private studios really re-pioneered and like just re-innovated tattooing to where it is now.
Yeah, it opened it up to a different market. Like,
for sure. Like, different tattoo artists.
The way tattooing was, it scared off the majority of people that thought, oh, maybe this could be a viable career option, and then if you look at that on another level, it would have, those shops would have also scared off a lot of potential new clients, so.
Oh, dude, like, female tattooing then, it was atrocious the way the shops were telling what people could get and couldn't get. And I mean, you wanted a fucking Disney tattoo back in those days, and like, it was just, I mean, it wasn't done like how people wanted. Like, the tattoo artists were just dictating to everyone what they needed to get done.
Yeah.
I think like it was stale. I don't know why everyone followed through, but everyone did. But once it could change, and it did, it really made for more fucking work.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you look at Lauren, man. Like, Lauren was getting ridiculed for fucking doing tattoos at, like,
and mate, she's killing it.
This and that. But you know what? People were getting them done, and no one was doing them before, and people wanted them done. So what classifies shit? I mean, you walk into an art gallery or in a museum, and you might see something that's incredible and something shit. But at the end of the day, if it's started and finished and it's executed cleanly enough, it's a piece of art. And that's how it works. And I think none of those things could happen unless there were private studios.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't see them happening in street shops. I don't see people being able to sit through the hard times and like have nothing and just have to fucking push what they want. Like, I mean, you're creating a diamond in those. Like, you're just pressuring yourself to hold on to what you're trying to do. So I mean,
it does definitely, the diamonds shine through. Like, you talk about like Sydney tattooing back in that era, and females, like, you had, early ones were Kiwi Kim and Fran. I'll probably forget a couple, but then then you had Megan Oliver, and then we spoke about Clarity, but then also as well, like, Lauren was one of the pioneers of the current generation of female tattooers as well.
Definitely. I think, it was a bit hard to handle for a lot of people at first. I mean, look at Shauna, Texas, man. Like, no one wanted that to happen, and people want it. Like, how can you stop it?
Exactly. Like, tattooing's
I want to do
gone
fucking skateboard tattoos on everyone all day, but some people just don't want that. And I mean, you can't flog a dead horse because you think it's right. There's new things that happen, and that's just tattooing. That's the game.
That's a lot of industries as well, not just tattooing.
For sure.
Just tattooing was obviously a little bit tougher and brutal, but the thing is, like,
I don't want to interrupt you, but do you remember this? I wanted to be a fucking traditional tattoo artist, and back then, Still Lotus had all the trad flash in the fucking toilet. So you're trying to tell someone that's doing a shit to get a Sailor Jerry tattoo? It wasn't happening. And like, so people now are like, oh yeah, man, like, this is tattooing. It's like, dude, when I started fucking tattooing, it was tribal and new school, and traditional was not being done. Yeah, it might have been 100%. Done in the 60s, but it wasn't being fucking done.
No, it was definitely like new school trad was the way to go. Chrome this, chrome that, all the crazy colors, this, that, and the other. But that was, because that was new. And
it took so long to get rid of the little fucking things that new school left behind. Like, dude, some of my favorite tattooing still to this day, but was Dan Smith's bright pink bright fucking, all the bright colors. And like, that was still traditional, but like, you look at his tattoos now and they're not like that, but that was the leftover from new school and graffiti art. I mean, I remember I still get asked now, they're like, oh, you're a tattoo artist. Did you used to do graffiti? Dude, I can't even spray paint a fucking bike. So no, I never did it. So everyone I can paint, but I cannot spray paint.
Yeah, mate. I'm just gonna go through some comments because we've had like a bunch come through. So we've got El Ray, mate, has gone, do you lift, bro?
Definitely not.
And then we've got Dan Kish, double trouble right there. Hi, Kish. And then we've got, what do we got else? We've got Xanax, Sup Heath. Then we've got Bryce Luce.
This is a good one. The last trip. Oliver Peck. I'm working at his shop. All right. I'm at Elm Street.
Yeah.
It's me and Jacob Young. I'm staying at Jacob's house. I was drinking. Like, I mean, you might see me drinking wine now, but like, I was drinking. I was always partying, and it was a bit of a downfall. But
you got to go through it, mate.
Anyway,
it comes with the
Oliver's
territory.
Like, you ride, right? Like, I've got a Harley for you, and I was like, man, you better be a diner because my legs do not touch the fucking pegs. Anyway, Oliver's shorter than me, so I was in smooth sailing. He gave me a diner. It was a street glide. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is street glide. It's an ex-police street glide.
Yep.
I'm tattooing all night, drinking around at Reno's. We're going fucking off. 4 kids shot themselves that night.
Wow.
And Elm Street was just fucking tipping. It was the worst.
Yeah.
Anyway, we worked from 12 noon to 2 a.m. This is just before COVID. So we come out, I'm like, fuck this, dude. And Jacob's like, get on your bike and boost up that street. Anyway, this kid comes out, looks like I thought he had a fucking gun. Jacob's got a gun. He's blocked him. We're boosted. Coming home, some fucking other kids chasing us in a car. I get home and I look down. I'm like, I've lost the keys. I lost the fucking dongle to the Harley. Came out of my pocket somewhere. Dude. No, I don't know if many people know who Oliver is. Oliver is one of the fucking nicest humans I've ever met. He's had a bit of turmoil lately, but I think you can let things get a bit carried away. Yeah. But anyway, this dude's one of my most favorite people, and he is the lovingest dude. But fuck, man, I was shitting it that I lost these keys. I called 2 Harley shops. He knows everyone. They picked the bike up. They redid the dongle. They dropped it off. I'd had the dongle, and I had to come forward. And I was like, "Hey, man, I lost your keys." Yeah. And he's like, "You motherfucker." He's like, "At least you told me, because the other motherfuckers will never tell me." And he was just laughing. Anyway.
Yeah, but you did the right thing.
Everyone that rides that bike loses the fucking dongle.
Wow. That's amazing stuff. And then we've got my mate Bryce Pluto tattoo. He's gone, Small Soldiers was the movie, was mint in the day.
Dude, made me want a tattoo.
There you go. And then we've got MJ Forrest, Hey Legends. And then Benjamin Hastings has gone, obviously another one, because we ain't going to go, we're just scratching the surface still.
There's Talia.
And then we've got Jimmy Irons is like Foxtrot uniform, Charlie Kilo, then Benjamin, blah blah. Heath, Clint Steele's like well said Heath, and what then Zan is gone funniest memories from our last trip to America, and then my mate Andrews, keep up the good work, and then we've got someone else. We love Oliver. Do another, mate. We're gonna have to do another episode for sure. So. We'll work out later on in the night where it is. So
we could literally talk for fucking ever about
tattoos. I know, mate, and that's one of the reasons why I love you, Heath, because you, like I said earlier before I introed you, mate, you're such a powerhouse, and you've been there, you've done that, you've lived larger than life, and I love it, mate. So all right, so then you came back and you were still at Steel Lotus. What was? Oh no, sorry, you got that art studio. Yeah. And then what happened from there?
Shit went down. Tattooed Armor got blown up. Yeah. I had to run in. I was waking up at 3 a.m. making sure junkies weren't setting light to the private studio.
Yep. It was a scary time, man.
It was hard, man. And like that was the other thing is too. Like I had to keep trucking. Like I had to open my shop. I mean, Nathan and Alex, dude, you remember it? We all had that.
Yeah, I was there, mate. I was at Tattooed Armor when it all went down, and I remember I got the call in the morning going, "Oh, mate, don't come to work today because, the shop's been bombed." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, all right, there's cops and everyone here." So I come down in the Arvo and everyone's like scrambling what to do. And I remember, I think the next day or two, we all went down there and cleaned it out, and you come down with your ute as well, and we all helped clean the joint out. And then Nathan, I sort of had a little apartment in Bondi that I turned overnight into a studio. Nathan came and worked with me, I think, until they worked out what to do.
Worked at his house.
Yep, a few of the other boys went and worked with him, and then they sort of ultimately went on and did Lighthouse.
Yeah. I remember, because I remember Nathan asked me what was I going to do, and I was like, there's some things, not all of us can work together.
Yeah.
It's like a band, man. Like, we all might be fucking making music that we might like of each other, but we can't all work together. It's just, you can't mix too many things together. So I knew that I would always butt heads with a lot of people in that room when we're having a conversation. And it was hard because I was young and I was trying to be like, look, I remember saying to Nathan at that point, like, I've got to do my own thing. I'm not trying to steal your thunder, but I need to go.
No.
And I opened up Hunter and Fox, and it was a slow progression. It was, I mean, it was the only other person in tattooing in Sydney at the moment that would have literally told anyone to go fuck themselves, which was Spider. So Spider Death came with me, and we were both like, look, if things burn down, like, we'll just we'll just keep cracking, man, you know? So
if it happens, it happens.
We did that. Yeah, you couldn't. And then by then, I was a bit done, man. I was like, I was over it. I was like, fucking, if you want to take it, just shoot me. Like, that's what it's going to take to rip me out of this shop.
Yeah, but like for me, let me like talking to you through this thing now, and obviously I've known you for a long time, but you can see by the story you've told tonight, Heath, I think you're always destined to be your own man, which
for sure
is undoubtable. And mate, power to you. Not many people, you know, have that self-belief or drive from a young age. So it's amazing. And, you know, and at that time as well, it was pretty much the first shop that broke the mold of what Sydney tattooing was at that time.
Yeah, dude, you know, like opening that shop, and everyone thought that I was going to like, that was someone being paid in the backhand and this and that. And it wasn't. It literally came down to that I was never going to fucking do any of that. And I was going to make a place that everyone could work, like a free thinking fucking place, purely. I mean, it's like when I told you that day about the fucking dirt bike. Like, some things you can't overly control. You ever ride a dirt bike in sand, and then you'll know how to like control life, because you can't control it. But you know, you can't grip too hard, or you get bucked off. You can't be too sloppy, or it falls. You've just got to work with it, man. And you know, for me, I opened a shop that was great and beautiful. I loved it. Ultimately, I left it, and I think things changed from that. But I don't know. It's
but apart from all of that, like, and that's the thing. Like, it was like, for me, because obviously I love the tattoo history and stuff, but it was such a, in my mind anyway, and in my heart, a pivotal shop in Sydney at the time. It was street level. It wasn't a private studio up on a first floor or tucked away somewhere. Like, you know, I'm sure the door you had to be buzzed in or whatever, but still a street shop.
Well, that was because the fucking I had put a DA in, and it took 2 years to approve, because at that time Ibrahim had opened a shop, and he fucked over the Sydney City Council, and it took forever. So our shop looked like a brothel. We were telling cunts, like, we had the seediest people in the world knocking on it, but man, fuck, it had to be street level. Yeah,
but that shop, man, it like, you talk about guest spots before. For us to get out back then, it was difficult, but that seemed to be like, you know, Tattoo Dharma had some guests come through, Innovision as well, Kaleidoscope, the Italians, and that sort of thing. But I think Hunter and Fox, for me, took it to a whole new level when tattooing was changing. Like, you had Chad, you had Steve Byrne, you had Greg Christensen, and man, the list could go on. And it was sort of also, I think, at the start of the whole hipsterism, when trad really came back in, when, you know, trad became like the flavor of the month. And it was amazing. So what was the crew at the time there?
All right. It was Sanchez.
Yep.
He came across. So it was Sanchez, Lauren, and Spider for a bit. And then Spider bailed out, and then Jamie came along. And then Stevie came along, then Norbert came along. And it just kind of, man, like, it was a heap of people. Like, dude, You got like Ben Hastings came through.
Yep.
Like there was a bunch of really fucking good people.
100%.
I mean, dude,
where was just out of curiosity, where was Sanchez before he came over?
Steel Lotus with us.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, there you go. Yep.
So Sanchez left Steel Lotus and then he went to what was that shop called? Shanghai Charlie's.
Yep.
All right, had a huge falling out with Bodie, ended up coming over to us.
Yeah, because I think then that Shanghai Charlie's was Bodie, Sanchez,
yeah, then Bodie,
Will Brown, Caleb Power. Yeah.
So I remember because so Will was Bodie's apprentice. I don't know how much Bodie showed Will.
Yep.
But I remember because Caleb got the fucking rug pulled out from under him from Bodie. Like, do you remember shit just appeared on Gumtree one day, all the massage tables? You're like,
mate, wait for this.
Wait
for this. So one night, I'm looking on Gumtree and I see this bed for sale, right? And I go, yellow walls. Fucking hell, that's a tattoo shop. I know who that is. So I message Bodie and go, hey, what's going on? Blah blah blah. He's like, oh, it's all over. I'm leaving. Don't tell anyone. So I was like, I made a deal. I said, look, he told me the story. I said, look, I'm not going to try and lowball you because you're in a shit situation. Just give me a fair price and I'll buy the lot, which I bought to then go and, use in Little Tokyo. But it was like, I found out years later that no one in the shop knew what was happening.
I was in Nepal, all right? I'm afraid of heights. I just walked up to look at Mount Everest. Yeah. I had a fucking shit of a time. I come back down and Caleb wrote, hey, man, I need a job. I was like, what? You weren't told? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, look, wait till I get home. I was like, but you should do your own thing, man. Like, you've already got it. That's the thing is, don't come join this. Like, we're already got it. We're stacked out. And, just go do your own thing. And,
mate, I love you, Heath.
Did it. Because Tattoo Rosie's, I remember saying to him, I remember being like, don't fucking have Shanghai Charlie's, man. You'd had the everything pulled out. No offense to Bodie or anyone that worked there.
Yeah. But be your own person. Yeah,
because he held on to his own thing. He had a hard time. I was like, do your thing, man, and it will prevail. And look at it now. Good on him.
Yeah. Amazing. What were you doing in Nepal? Did you go to the convention or were you just
Yes. I taught a fucking cab driver how to swim in a pool.
Because I was talking about with Mark Lonsdale last night because we went to the Nepal convention after the earthquake. So you were there pre-earthquake. Yeah, mate. It's such a mad place, isn't it?
Bro, there was an avalanche stand and they had 13 bodies strapped up to rope and they were flying it through the fucking valley. Now, you look down on this thing and it's twice the height of Centerpoint Tower and I was crawling. I am that fucking afraid of heights thanks to my dad. I went there to it was my 30th birthday and I wanted to do something. Fuck me,
man, it's so mad. I had a guy come into the shop a couple of years ago and he was like, oh man, I've been a chopper pilot in Nepal for years and I've been going up and, doing the mountain stuff. And he wanted a tattoo of a chopper lifting up dead bodies from, from Everest, but also then ghosts of their spirits reaching up to the chopper. And I'm like, mate,
I can't get a fucking Ouija board on you, man. Call it a day.
I can't help you, but hey, Dean or someone else here can, But yeah, it's crazy stuff. But
that was a great trip. I was there we were there with Robert Ryan. Fuck man, a Swedish guy, a Swiss guy, I forget his name. His name's Dude, we took a heap of photos and for some weird reason, fucking Robert Ryan was always glowing. Now, I don't know if you've met Robert Ryan, but he is the spiritual version of Chad
I know
Kaplinger.
of him,
And that dude, man, if he starts a cult, I'm fucking joining. That guy is incredible. I love that guy. But yeah, so I was there doing that. I was getting $2 fucking haircuts and massages. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's a mad place. It's a mad place. So, mate, we've got 6 minutes left. So I'm going to kind of stop it there before. We're going to stop before about all the Americans that started coming over and all that sort of stuff. So, okay, so tomorrow night I had Ron Ronstagram on, but he's got a mad eye infection, so he's had to cancel. So we've got a couple of options, and you don't have to answer now. We can either do again tomorrow night, or we can do next week or something. So have a think.
Man, we'll do tomorrow night. I know you wanted to talk about art, so maybe we'll just
give us a quick tour now. Yeah, give us a quick tour about through the studio what you've got going on behind you.
Well, there's
And
two
tell us,
studio
where
rooms.
are you? Because you're not in the Greater Sydney area, are you?
Nah. So I live 2 hours south. I live on a farm in a place called Talong. So it's 25 kilometers, 25 acre fucking, what am I talking about? 25 acre fucking farmstead that I have. My house is an old converted barn. I have a giant shed, which is a boxing, like it's a boxing ring and thing, because Talia is about to fight.
Amazing.
I grew up boxing. So, but this is the oil painting area.
Killer.
Hold on. So it starts at the piano.
Yep. You can obviously play the piano.
Yeah.
Can you
like
bust out a tune? If not tonight, maybe
Tomorrow
that can
night.
be the intro to tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. I'll play some
Hey,
John
you know what? I found something out crazy as well. You know who else could be, who was a classically trained pianist? Scott Orrick.
Oh, what a guy.
Yeah.
Are you
Crazy,
fucking for real?
Who? Seriously. Yeah, Arm told me. I never would have thought.
You know what, man? Like, I mean, we all had our things with that guy. And that guy, he was like, imagine me with bright red hair that was let to go fucking astray. That's who Scott Orrick was.
Yeah.
But man, I'd now like to hear his history. Because if he's playing piano, that's a sensitive side.
Mate, unfortunately,
I had nothing sensitive.
he was always on my list of people to interview with Australian tattoo history, but unfortunately, you know, it never happened. But it would have been, mate. That dude could have his own underbelly series written on him.
It really could. I mean, I'm not backing that. Like, if I hear young guys now talking like, oh, you know, if the blackies weren't around like that, you know, it wouldn't be the same. I was like, go fuck yourself. You never had to deal with it. You don't know what it was like. And don't wish that upon people. Like,
mate, dude, no way.
Can you imagine trying to have LGBTQ fucking tattoo studios back then? And like, those things, everything needs to happen. You need to be a tattoo studio that does everything. You need to touch and tickle every part of the world. So fuck them. Like, I mean, no offense to Scott, but fuck that kind of thinking. That needs to go.
Yeah, for sure.
But for people like Scott,
tattooing,
I'd love to hear about his piano.
Yeah, 100%. But tattooing has, like, that's just a prime example of how much tattooing has really changed in the last 10 to 15 years. It's like, you know, exactly that. It's a much safer place. It's a much more inclusive place. It's you know, hence why Sydney is flourishing.
For sure. Without a doubt.
Yeah. So back to the paintings, mate. Back to the paintings. So oil, you're saying oil?
Yep. So, like, that's a start. That was painted. That was a white canvas before you'd come along.
Can you take it up a bit closer, please?
Is that better?
Yeah, amazing, mate. Oh,
that's
awesome.
Background. I mean, we'll talk about it tomorrow, what that's for, but that's that.
Yep.
So it's my painting box.
Yep.
Got a wine on it.
So what do you use? Obviously oils. And you mix a lot of your own pigment as well, don't you?
What do you mean? Like, do I mix the colors or?
Yeah, or you use like an older world way of working.
Yeah. No. So I use old techniques. So I'll ground a canvas. So I know how to like glaze, like do, or like, I got into painting because of Dutch golden age paintings, which were like really kind of realism, kind of wasn't. But anyway, I do things that like Rembrandt would do. Like I'll ground the canvas. I'll use chalking white. I'll build up glazing and that. Some of the newer stuff, I mean, oils are beautiful, man. Like oil, like if you haven't painted, and like a lot of people want to paint in oils, the biggest key is like you just got to figure out a way to paint with oil. Sometimes you got to thin the fuck out of it, so it's like a watercolor painting. Then you've got to find a surface that supports that. Sometimes you want to paint thick, so you got to find the certain pigments that do that. Like it's you choose your own adventure, man. And there's things that I can do in oil painting that I can't do. I was doing with paper, with watercolor. But it was just, it wasn't working as well as I wanted. It took a long time to get the oils down perfect, but that's all I paint with. Like, whatever you want.
And from what the limited knowledge I have of painting, like oils is obviously involves patience.
Man, like, you know, when you speak to certain galleries and you think that oils is the quintessential, like the pinnacle of fucking painting, they'll tell you like, no, it doesn't fucking matter. It's the size. Size is price. Right. It doesn't matter what you do. You know, size is price. So.
All right, mate, what we're going to do, we're hitting on our time limit. So thankfully, mate, you know, we're going to come back tomorrow night. Same time, same place. But what I'll do, I'm gonna hang up now, and I'm gonna call you, and me and you will probably chat for longer. Have a toilet break and then get into it again. But mate, I from the bottom of my heart, Heath, this has been amazing. And like I said, we've only got not even to the halfway mark of, you know, what you've done. And like I said before, like, you know, you're always destined to be your own man. But, you know, like Hunter and Fox was such a pivotal studio, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow night, then about your painting and about where you are now and the future and all that sort of stuff. So, mate,
sure.
I thank you so much.
Thank you, dude. This is great.
And yeah, we'll go from there, mate. So awesome. All right, buddy, I'll hang up now, and I'll give you a call soon.
See you, mate.
Give me about 10 minutes.
All right, bye.
All right, thanks, mate. Love you. Bye.
Bye.